How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alan Staley, and this is Slinging Dirt with Staley. On this week's episode, I continue the streak of Knoxville Raceway recordings, catching up with the perennial frontrunner and fan favorite driver of the Helm Motorsports, WSR, Universal Service Agency, Sure-Built Suspension, Eagle Chassis, Westmar 410 Racing Engine, number 12 traditional sprint car from Nixa, Missouri, Wesley Smith. A consummate professional and all-around cool dude, Wesley joins me to talk about his passion, how he got his start, and even a few highlights, notching 4 career Power I Lucas Oil War Sprint League feature victories. 2019 has been another year of success for Smith, claiming 2 wins on the season. The first came in late May at Double X Speedway, the other just this past weekend at Lake Ozark Speedway on night number 1 of the Non-Wing Nationals. Currently sitting 4th in the season standings, Wesley continues to be a force on the racing surface, winning in everything from midgets at US 36 to legend cars at his home track, Springfield Raceway. Wesley opens up about everything ranging from the impact of winning the illustrious Silver Driller at the Tulsa Shootout to what it means to him winning a heat race at Knoxville Raceway against USAC drivers in a co-sanctioned event. Plus, Smith chats about why he still covets that elusive B-modified feature win, which type of track he prefers, and his own take on racing's Mount Rushmore. All that and more on an all-new Slinging Dirt with Staley. Special guest, the wheelman of anything, Wesley Smith, starting right about now.
Started in go-karts when I was 4,
Okay.
And it was about 2 months after my birthday. The season was just starting up in our hometown. We used to live in Texas, and my dad had always been a race fan, raced some mini stocks and stuff like that back before I was born, and he put me a go-kart together, and we just started racing. And I was one of those kids, you know, halfway through the race I pulled the infield because I was done, and it just kind of progressed. Luckily, I picked it up a little bit because it's just something that it's all I want to do now.
I'd say you picked it up a little bit as an understatement. The progression of your talent in the sport. I mean, I live on the complete other side of the state of Missouri, but I know who you were going in before I ever became the announcer here at War. And the Golden Driller. What's that mean?
It's actually a silver driller.
It's a silver driller.
Yeah, it's 25th anniversary.
Okay.
So, it's kind of my claim. You know, like Tony Stewart, he's got golden drillers.
Right.
He ain't got a silver driller.
He ain't got a silver driller. You got a silver driller.
So, yeah, it's 25th anniversary. It was the last year they ran karts. And I started 6th in that race. And it was against, when we raced go-karts, it was... Southwest Missouri was kind of the hub in the Midwest,
right?
Because go-kart racing was big, but on the coast. So in the middle, we were, you know, these were the guys.
Kind of all by yourself out there in the middle of the country.
Yeah, we kind of had an advantage going into Tulsa. You know, we all raced together and everything. We knew how to race each other, and
you knew what they were going to do.
I took the lead. I don't know how early into the race, and just kind of never looked back. It was fun. Are
you still chasing another one, or you got something else in mind? Because I know the Chili Bowl the last couple of years, you've been an entry in that. Is that something that you're chasing?
Yeah, you know, the first year in the Chili Bowl, we actually had a really stellar year. We were supposed to start 6th on our qualifying night in the A-Main and had engine troubles in the qualifier. We were ahead of Kyle Larson, and my engine blew up coming to the green flag on the restart, and he got around me, and I ended up bringing home a 2nd because I was like, I'm not about to just let him walk away. You know, I'm going to run this engine. It's done anyway. So that same year, the next day, we drove back home, and we drove back down because we're like, we're going to try and fix it anyway. Westmar Racing Engines actually helped us out a lot and hooked us up with some machining work and stuff. And we basically rebuilt the whole engine that week, and ended up starting again on Saturday in the D-Main, and almost made it. We missed the transfer by 1 spot for my Chili Bowl debut, and you know, none of them really been that great since, but it's still fun to go, you know. How does the Helm ride come about? So Chris Schofeld and Jeff Palazzolo got together, and I drove Jeff Palazzolo's car at the 2017 Jesse Hockett race at Lucas Oil, right? And I sat on the front row of the Friday show. I sat on the pole of it, and didn't do nothing spectacular. It was my second night in a sprint car. You know, we ran Thursday and had some engine trouble, so I had like 10 laps under my belt, and I didn't think that I'd end up finishing the race, but I just pulled in. But later that season, Chris Schofeld and John Helm got together and decided to put me in the Helm car for one night, and I'd go out there in hot laps at Valley Speedway and spin out first lap, you know. Good first impression. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So get out there in the heat race and do nothing spectacular, 4th, and then I move up about midway through the pack in the feature and finish 4th right behind White Burks and all of them, you know, and that was good enough that they said, well, we'll try it again next year. And then first race in the season in 2018, I won the War Series opener. And
is that Springfield?
Springfield, and that's my home track. I mean, that track slicked up, and I ran the bottom. I had a million laps around that place anyway.
So you knew kind of what you were doing.
Yeah. So I was light footing around the bottom, and the rest is kind of history. You know, for 2018, we just kind of ran whenever we could. We had some midget races that we wanted to make and stuff, so we kind of sat out some of the sprint car stuff. But this season we're full throttle on the sprint car.
Is it your first time on a half mile?
Yeah, biggest track I've ever been on, Spoon River. You know.
What do you have to do to mentally prepare yourself for a big half mile like this?
When we first got here, I was kind of just trying to convince myself it's really not that big, you know.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Double X earlier this season, track was small, straights were skinny and stuff, and you just kind of try to convince yourself that it's bigger than that. There's actually room to race out there.
Yeah.
So here, you know, to convince yourself that it's a lot smaller than it actually is.
Had you ever been to Double X before?
No, that's the first time I ever stepped in that area.
Really?
You know, never been there before.
So you're kind of a whole lot of firsts the last couple of years, the first tracks and everything. Have you been out to like Spoon River?
Never been to Spoon River. Second trip was last weekend. You know, never been to Tri-City.
So all these tracks you're seeing for the first time?
First time, yeah.
And you're doing as good as you are?
Trying to, yeah. You know, I just kind of, you know, the funnest tracks are the ones like Lake Ozark. I love going to Lake Ozark because it's an open wheel show too. When you go up there, you know. And like here tonight, it's going to be an open wheel track because you're running open wheel cars. When we go to Spoon River and stuff, the track's great.
But they also have late models.
Yeah, and they run it out pretty
wheel,
good. You know, So, but that's the hardest part about going to different tracks. You know, they all kind of race the same if they're running the same classes.
Do you have a specific track that you just love, and then on the flip side of it, you have one track that you just kind of avoid?
Springfield Raceway is my favorite.
Well,
I raced there for a long
track.
time, and I raced there and everything. And the only car I've never won in there was a B modified, you know. So that's definitely my favorite track. It's just a fun track. I wish we could get a war show there.
Yeah.
And I know it's a money thing, but I wish we could get a war show there with the Power Eye midgets and some ASTS sprint cars or something, and have an open wheel
big show.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great track. Be some good racing. On the other hand, nothing against Spoon River.
Yeah.
It's just the feature always goes pretty bad, you know. I mean,
your heats and everything usually do good, and then if you come feature time, it's almost like the track takes on a completely different personality.
Yeah, and they run so many classes there that by the time you're sitting there for 2 hours not touching the track, you don't know what it's doing. You know what it's doing.
Yeah,
it's slicking up. That's all it's doing.
Do you have any race day rituals? Anything that you have to do, or anything that you try to avoid, like a superstition?
Yeah, we're very superstitious.
What kind of superstitions?
So, color green, peanuts. We don't eat chicken on race day. Fried chicken.
All these, all the normal things that you hear.
If we don't have to change the oil on raceway, we don't. You know, it's like the 2-day shows we do.
Yeah.
But if we don't have to, we always do that early in the week. So it's far from race day as possible. Yeah, we change oil on race days and blown it up. I mean, it seems like every other time we do it. So we just don't do it anymore.
I've heard some interesting ones. Like one guy that I talked to, he doesn't shave before like race day or the day before race day. Do you have anything like that, or is it just strictly like the color green, don't eat chicken, no peanuts?
It's pretty much the main stuff.
Yeah,
the only weird one, I mean, I know everybody's got weird ones, but the only weird one is don't change the oil on race day. You know, like we're gonna change the oil today. You know, big half mile, 25 laps on our equipment. We got to. Yeah, we got to take care of it. So,
do you have any fear?
You know, I used to get really nervous when I started doing it, you know, and every time I get in a new car, I get a little nervous. It's gonna sound dumb, but I realize that the fear really doesn't help you any. You know, if you can go out there with a bunch of adrenaline, or you can go out there with just a clear mind and no adrenaline, and you're gonna perform the same. You know.
Interesting.
So that's like last night in that feature, I was like, I'm just gonna get a good clean start, and then see what happens from there. I'm gonna try and make some moves, and if I can't. You know, I just went out there and I just drove my race, and I didn't necessarily think about every move I made, but I knew what I had to do, so I just went out there and did it. You know, the guys in front of me were basically the USAC front runners. I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm in it here. Like, I'm starting behind them, but I'm still in it. You know, like we were running midgets at Lucas Oil, but the national tour came through, and it was the same feeling there. You know, I was starting same position in the feature, and I'm like, man, I'm here in it. I'm behind the best drivers in the country right now.
You're amongst them.
I mean,
you're right there.
I'm in front of some of them.
Exactly.
You know, I've transferred straight to today and beat some of them out.
Exactly.
That was the coolest part.
To pull off a heat race win here at Knoxville, what does that mean for your career? Because you've got quite an illustrious career, even beside the heat race win.
That's my first. I ran USAC midgets before, once or twice. And this is the first time I've ever ran USAC sprint cars, and especially at a half mile, I was really nervous about it because I was thinking we're going to be outmoded. The helms give me great stuff, but I mean it's not USAC stuff. None of these war guys have USAC stuff.
Right.
I mean that's just all there is to it. And to go out there and pull off the heat race win from fourth, which really helped our points average over the night. It was just incredible. I was fist pumping going across the line and everything. I thought it was so. I was coming out of turn 4 and I was like, I can't believe I'm about to do this.
So, were you looking for your spots whenever you're out there on the track? Like, are you saying, here's where I'm going to set the car?
Yeah, we missed the setup just a hair. It was a hair loose last night. We started off pretty opposite. We started off pretty tight, and started loosening the car up. And by the time we got it loose, the track started slicking up real good. So I really had to aim for my spots last night, and it helps, following somebody that I race with almost weekly, Wyatt Burks.
Yeah.
We're running the same line pretty much. So here it's hard to aim for your spots because you have so much time to think going down, and even going through the corners. And going through the corners, the car's loose, the car's tight, the car's doing all kinds of stuff. Especially my first time here, I can't really get a handle on it sometimes.
Would you rather be thinking about it, or is it I'd just rather be reacting?
I like to react. I'd rather just be reacting. Because when you think about it, you do second guess yourself.
You overanalyze.
That's what sucks about thinking about it. Is you can't overthink. Second guess yourself. Going down the straightaway here, you got so much time to think. A couple times I missed the bottom big time. I just go in there and overshoot it, because I was thinking about it too much. There's a fine line.
Can you kind of tell me about the first time out there on the track, whether it be in a midget, in your go-kart, in the full-size sprint car? Like, what is that feeling like? Was it overwhelming with nerves, or were you like, yeah, I found my niche, I found what I want to do?
This season, really, I've been driving for a bunch of different people, which is fun.
Right.
I've been driving like a modified for a guy. We went to pick up a midget for. We're going to drive Rick Horn's midgets, which he bought out in Bradley Ed's midget operation pretty much. We're going to drive one of his next weekend. And it's more fun to race for, like, my dad first time, because there's not a whole lot of pressure. And he comes in, I come in and he tells me, well, what do you think about this? And I tell him, well, let's do this to the car and stuff like that. We can talk about it more, but when you're driving for people, it's more of I got to go out there and impress them.
And perform,
for sure,
because you're a hired gun, you have to perform.
The biggest deal is, like, the first time I drove a 410 sprint car was at Lake Ozark, and I come out with the biggest grin on my face ever. I mean, you're never going to use all that power, but you're not going to go tell them to take it out either.
Exactly. What about your first win? What did that mean to you? Can you kind of walk me through coming off 4 and the celebration and everything?
I'm sure my first win was years ago in a go-kart, but the first one I really remember was the Tulsa shootout win. Yeah. And I come out of turn 4 and I was fist pumping, I was screaming, I was like, this is so cool, this is awesome, And now, like when I won my war race, my first war race, I was fist pumping, doing the same thing. And last night when I won my heat race, I was fist pumping. That heat race win was it's up there with the coolest things.
So you still have a bunch of passion for the sport. I mean, that's completely obvious. Where does that come from? What motivates you?
I just grew up around it. I feel like not just grew up around it, but I grew up doing it.
You grew up in it, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up racing and I see all the hard work that everybody puts in, and if I don't go out there and perform, I feel like I've wasted everybody's time and effort and money, So I feel like I got to go out there and I got to do the best I can every time.
It sounds kind of like a life lesson that you're preaching right there. What has been the most pivotal life lesson or most important life lesson you've learned, not just behind the wheel, but what has racing taught you that you could take into your normal everyday life?
It makes life easier, I feel like, to me. Overall, like this is a dumb example, but like driving down the street, some people, like when everybody's getting their driver's license in high school, everybody's like, oh, I'm so nervous to drive, and I'm like, it's nothing, it's whatever. Who cares? It's whatever, So I think it makes everything easier. You go out there and I'm racing. You're racing against multi-million-dollar operations out here tonight. Yeah. And so your everyday challenges day to day are nothing. Nothing makes me nervous anymore. Racing obviously makes me nervous, but nothing in life makes me nervous. I got bills to pay and stuff, but I'm not worried.
Why should you be worried? You're on the edge of out of control.
Exactly.
And then everything else in life is just kind of falls into place.
It just makes everything easier.
I like that. Preferred line, top or bottom?
Oh, top. I used to be, top. When I was getting out of karts, kind of everybody called me a bottom feeder, but in go-karts, everybody's a bottom, Yeah. And then top, I love the top in a sprint car, midget, everything. It's just fun. And a modified, I go out there in a modified quarter mile, you just never let off and kind of just go around the top,
You throw it in, hope it sticks.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to run too, I feel like. You got to think about the bottom a lot, and it's easy to admit. Like last night, first time I ran the bottom of the track was on the feature, and I had no idea what I was doing. It's just easier to run the top.
I don't know about that, because you miss the bottom, you slide up the track. You miss the top, you're going in the wall.
Well, that's true, yeah. There's double-edged swords. I do like Lake Ozark, when the cushion's right up against the wall. Yeah. It's a lot easier to slide 2 foot than 20 feet.
It is. And sometimes you can put that back wheel on a wall and give you a little momentum. Yep. Do you have like a playlist or a certain song that gets you hyped? And then on the same token, do you have a guilty pleasure? Or if we heard it or seen it on your phone or your playlist, we'd be like, what are you listening to?
I listen to some alternative music. My playlist is everything from just rap, like the dankest rap,
nice.
To
nothing wrong with that.
I listen to I don't even know the band's name. I just listen to alternative stuff sometimes. I don't really have like a race day playlist or nothing. It's more of when I listen to songs, I'll listen to them until I hate them.
Yeah.
You know, because I like
Just
the song.
over and over
I
again.
just put on repeat. So that's what I do. Like on the way up here, you know, if I've had my headphones in, I put a song on repeat.
What was the last song that was on repeat?
Oh, look here. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Hang on.
Well, while you're looking it up, do you have a dream car?
No, not. You know, I'm a race car driver. I'm not really a car guy. Like,
Interesting.
my brother, he has a truck, and he wants to get a new one. He wants to do all this stuff to it, put spacers on it, get the big tall rims and all that, and the lights on it and everything. And my truck, I've had it, and I don't feel like putting any. You know, I've changed the oil in it, and it's good to go. I'm not really that worried about it.
Yeah, but you kind of have another car that you put all of that stuff into.
Yeah.
Did you find your?
Yeah. Okay. It was actually Gangster's Paradise. But,
A little Coolio on there.
So yeah, that was it.
Nice.
That was the one I put on repeat.
Is there anything in a race car that you haven't done yet that you want to?
You know, I used to want to drive wing sprint cars.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got into wingless sprints. I was like, what's a wing?
What's
I don't
a
need
wing?
a wing. Forget
Yeah.
a wing.
Yeah.
You know? I do want to. I used to race B mods a lot, and I never got a win in a B mod. I was always right there, second, third, fourth, fifth. You know, beat them all, just not at the same time.
Yeah.
So I want to get back in one of those.
Good.
And just go win a race, you know, win a good race. You know, like I was running third last year at one of the big tracks in Southwest Missouri, and the big races, and ended up getting pushed off the track, finished 7th. But I want to go down there and try and win it. You know, that's my deal. I want to jump back in something that I've never won in before.
You just
try to win it, because now that I've driven this sprint car, a modified, you know, they're fun, but nothing like a sprint car.
Yeah.
You know.
Any asphalt aspirations, or are you straight dirt?
Nah, you know,
like
people used to, you know, when I was 16, I was like, it'd be cool to get to NASCAR, but when you're 16, you need a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
You need to already be racing World Outlaws to get to NASCAR. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I'm happy. I'm content doing what I'm doing with the Helms. You know, I show up and drive, and we both pitch into the car as much as we can, and that's what we do. It's a lot easier than running my own stuff. You know.
Anyone you want to give a special shout out to?
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to the whole Helm crew, Jeremy and Tommy that are helping with us this weekend. John and Gary, the brothers that work on the car all week and get it to the track every weekend, and Chris Schofield, he's been texting me all weekend wondering how I'm doing. He said if I get an interview, I got to give him a shout out, so I did. And my dad's here with me this weekend, and my wife Allison, she's my biggest supporter sometimes, and I'm glad she can make this. She don't get to make it to all the races. She works nights at the hospitals, and I'm glad she can make it to this one. And then my buddy Brett's here this weekend too.
That is one thing I really admire about your whole team, your whole operation, the race team and everything is anytime I go by the pits, you're always upbeat, smiling, having fun, and in a positive mood. Family is first and foremost. You can tell that with you and everything. Where does that side of racing come from? Like, was it instilled young? Is it just something that you kind of learned along the way?
So my mom used to go with us a lot, and she goes now. She doesn't like watching the sprint car. You know, she can watch the video a little bit now. You know, but she was never really a race fan. She just liked it because my dad and I did it, and that's what she'll still go to the races and stuff. Like my brother got into racing the legend cars now, so she goes with him, and it's getting better. And she's going a lot more, and I really like when she goes and stuff. And I met my wife through racing. I met her at school, but we knew each other because of racing, so that helped.
Awesome.
So that's cool. I got a lot to thank racing for. And, the Helms have always been that way. They've always brought 20, 30 people with them to the track every weekend anyway, so I meet more of them every time I do something.
What's the future look like for you? What do you want to do? Is it points championship? Is that what we're after? You want to run as many races as possible?
So we had engine trouble earlier this year, and we were still chasing the war points, but we were going to run some of the Iowa series and stuff like that, and catch some USAC shows. And John wants to put the wings on and go run some World Outlaw shows that not everybody shows up to. We just go up there and make the A no matter what.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Go home.
That'd be awesome.
But now that we're down to one engine, we're kind of just sticking with war.
Yeah.
We moved into 4th in points this weekend. Since some of the cars didn't show up, and we were leading early in the season, had some engine troubles, and then I had a couple of DNFs between flat tires and getting places I shouldn't have been.
Bad luck. Yeah.
And we fallen out of it a little bit, but you never know what can happen. So we're still gunning for the War Championship, trying to maybe get a top 3 this year.
And you're still right there. I mean, you're within. I think 100 points is.
And 100 points seems like a lot, but I mean, last year when Riley won, he won by almost 150 points. So he dominated last season. Yeah. But now this season, everybody's right there.
It's a lot closer than it was last year.
So that's the plan right now.
Hollywood is calling. They're making the Wesley Smith movie.
Oh yeah.
Who plays you?
So like John Travolta in that one movie that he made, Trading Paint, and like when that movie Six Pack on the what's the music singer's name that plays it? Was it Kenny Rogers or something?
Maybe. I have no idea.
I think so, but it's an old racing movie, right? And people who aren't racers don't play racers very well.
They don't.
Like Trading Paint, the closest thing they got right in that race was the late model they bought was $80,000.
Yeah,
that was the closest thing they got right.
Tom Cruise wasn't bad in Days of Thunder.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's the best
Thunder.
racing movie. But if I had to pick one, I'd just Will Ferrell play me. Make it funny.
So it's going to be a comedy.
Oh yeah, why not?
And the final question of the show is kind of the staple here. What is your Mount Rushmore of racing?
Since I used to race against. I used to idolize like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and all them. But now that I race against them and race the same cars they do, they're not. They're still great.
The stigma of is kind of gone.
First one would be Tony Stewart, just because he doesn't care. I want to be in that point in my career where people want to sponsor me no matter what I say.
Yeah, you just don't care.
I can be just open about whatever I care about. Second one, it would have been Kyle Larson, but I got to pick Christopher Bell just because Kyle Larson, you can almost count on him spinning out or wrecking. Like I used to be a big Larson fan, but you never want to watch you never want to watch somebody leading a race and then give it up on the last lap of the chili bowl.
You do kind of have a point there. I mean,
Christopher Bell for sure, and then I
got two more.
Lewis Hamilton's a pretty good F1 driver. I like him. I know F1. They're the crybabies of racing.
I gotta say that they are.
They're the best. Those cars are the hardest to handle. They're a sprint car on steroids.
And the speed and everything.
So I got to give it to Lewis Hamilton, and then the last one will probably be. I was going to say Corey Schutte for setting a 10-lap track record in the C-Main last night.
Nice.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Cool. So that was sweet.
You two kind of from the same area down there. Is there any rivalry, or is it kind of help each other out? And...
No, we always want to do better than each other, but we race so close in midgets and everything and luckily we've never gotten together.
That's good.
We've had some close runs and stuff. It's always, we don't care where we finish as long as we both had a good night.
So it's kind of a mutual respect kind of thing.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
And we fit next to each other. We got to be friends.
Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, if you're going to kind of go back to the same area, pit next to each other, you got to keep the peace at least.
So.
All right, buddy. That's about all the questions I have for you right now. But I can't wait to again talk to you the rest of the season, interviewing you in Victory Lane
a lot more
this year. All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.